Greetings, everyone. This is part 2 of the year-end presentation around final expenditure reports. The agenda today will include 2 areas. Number 1, things to do before the FERs, and the second area are FER reminders. We will start with things to do before the FERs. Reimbursement requests. So when you do reimbursement requests in ePlan, before starting any final expenditure report, you need to delete any unsubmitted reimbursement request for that particular funding application. In other words, make sure you do not have any reimbursement requests that were started but not completed. If you do, these will need to be deleted. Also, delete any pending reimbursement requests for a negative amount. These negative amounts will become excess funds and will be moved to FY20 as cash on hand for the grants that allow carryover. If the grant does not allow carryover, it will be refunded to the state. Be sure to allow enough time for year-end reimbursement requests to process, especially for federal funds. We want to avoid any negative cash situation at year-end. We see audit findings around this issue every year. Allow at least 5 to 7 business days from date of approval by local finance, and 7 to 10 business days at peak times. To guarantee reimbursement needed by June 30th, submit all requests that do not require documentation by June the 16th, and submit all requests that do require documentation by June the 9th. Please be sure to use these dates to be guaranteed reimbursement by the June 30th date. If you have submitted a reimbursement request for FY20 funds, you cannot begin the FER for that grant until the reimbursement request is marked paid in ePlan. The final expenditure report will automatically generate a reimbursement request for expenditures not requested prior to the completion of the FER. FY20 revisions in ePlan. Be sure to complete any revisions already in process prior to beginning the final expenditure report. All applications must be in approved status before you can begin the final expenditure report. All state funds budgets should reflect the final amended budget from your general ledger. So as soon as you do your final budget amendment as of June 30th, these should be reflected under the state funds budget. Final amended state funds budget must be entered into ePlan as a revision to state funds before the FER can be started. We are now going to cover several final expenditure report reminders. The final expenditure report covers expenditures incurred between July 1, 2019 and June 30, 2020. FERs may only be started after July 1, 2020. Final expenditure reports are due August 1st for all funds and all grants. State funds FER. Please be sure to include all funds that apply to your district. Include all individual FERs for federal grants that are in E-Plan. Include all individual state grant FERs, for example, your safe schools, your school safety, your coordinated school health. Those are just a few of the examples that you see here. Be sure that all these state fund FERs are completed that are in E-Plan as well. Final expenditure reports regarding carryover. Carryover, if applicable, is loaded only after the FER is completed and approved. This is part of the FER process. Carryover will move into the FY21 new grant application where it will need to be budgeted and will automatically put the application in revision started status. Final expenditure report upload. If you plan to upload data into E-Plan, you will create the file from your local accounting system. The directions to convert the file to E-Plan format are located in TDOE resources. Here, you will select cross-cutting fiscal material, then template for uploading into E-Plan, and here you will see the hyperlink for the upload template and the converting an accounting software system file to upload in E-Plan. For the upload template, please use AFR in the reporting column for the final expenditure report. And this is a screenshot of what that looks like in E-Plan. All right, this is what the upload template should look like in order to successfully load in E-Plan. State funds financial reporting review. All end-of-year financial reporting is in E-Plan as it was last year. You will have the balance sheet, assets, liabilities, fund balance, actual revenues, actual expenditures, and other year-end reports. These items will be available when you are in FER draft started status. Reporting of revenues, expenditures, and balance sheets are required for all grants with the exception of the following grants below. These grants will not have a balance sheet to complete. These are coordinated school health, family resource center, safe schools, voluntary pre-K. Expenditures. For federal grants and other state grants, the final expenditures will preload according to the most recent reimbursement request data. You will then manually key in any expenditure changes that are necessary. For state funds, expenditures may be uploaded or manually keyed. There is one exception. If there is an expenditure in a line with no budget, you may do a budget revision to put at least $1 in that line item, and then you will be able to manually key in expenditures. Otherwise, you must upload expenditures so that a value can load into that line item. And keying in expenditures will not be an option. Financial reporting review continues. Be sure to examine your data before beginning to upload for the final revised state funds budget in order to ensure the ability to upload the data. Also, once it has been loaded, make sure it reflects the final budget data. You must include revenue and expenditures for the USDA commodities in 143. And we mentioned that because the USDA commodities is one that's left out many times. So be sure that we include that. Revenue, expenditure, and balance sheet amounts should be entered including cents. However, if you are uploading, amounts may be rounded in the file from your accounting system. And this is fine, this is okay, but may cause balancing issues in your totals. If you're out of balance by $1 or more due to rounding, just make sure you make the adjustments in E-Plan accordingly so you will be in balance. This concludes part 2 of the year-end review presentation. Thank you all for listening.